And and cheers to my team, Marwa Alchemy, Shania Siren, and Hayden Todd for your leadership in this conference and organization. So our theme is about transforming together. So what I'd like to do is let's just greet each other in the chat. So if you feel like it, just say hi and your name and your institution. Hi, Holly. Hi, Sarah. Anne, great to see you. Well, hi all. So I want you to look left and look right and look at the names and look at the faces. These are the people in your field with whom you can network and learn from and grow with over the next 20 years. So leadership development and organizational design, I would call that my expression. It's my practice, it's my purpose. And I want you to know that I am with you even beyond this session. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn or email to discuss your own promotion situation. I can review your LinkedIn with you or however I can help you. My email's there on the slide. So let's go to the next slide. Today's session is 50 minutes and it's an applied workshop. And at the end of your time, you will have written your own statement of purpose, or what I call a promotion statement. You'll set 3 specific skill development goals for the next 90 days. And you will have met an accountability partner for your support. So you should have, and Hayden, Marwa and I weren't able to set this up ahead of time. There is a template for writing that's in the folder. I'm wondering if that's possible to bring forward. Probably not. We're not quite there on the slides yet. Can you go back one? Yeah. Okay. Hayden, is there a, boy, I don't know how we're gonna get, you know what? I'll just tell you how to write it. I don't know if you can get the worksheet. It's in the folder that's listed for the Promote Yourself.
Yeah, let me see if I can pull that up real quick.
Okay, great. Thank you, Hayden. I'll take a minute. While Hayden's looking for that, I want to acknowledge that I'm sharing my view and my experiences from a place of privilege. I was a high need financial aid, full scholarship, student in college, but I did have the privilege of 2 college educated parents. Without resources to spare, I started my first job literally the morning after I graduated from college. I graduated Sunday afternoon and started work at 8 o'clock Monday morning. I was so concerned about health insurance and no savings. So I started at the most entry-level positions and eventually promoted into vice presidential positions at 2 different global companies. And I was known in the industry for creating positions and promotions for myself. So I've participated in the hiring and promotions of literally hundreds of staff at all levels. So I bring that inside knowledge to this workshop. But if I miss something for you, I want you to please let me know. And I'm at hara@reed.edu. So let's go to the next slide. When we talk about promotability, among the biggest mistakes I've seen are not having clarity about your purpose. Sarah talked about that yesterday in the keynote address, walking in your purpose. Your purpose is the focus of your actions. And it's there so that you don't spend too much of your time doing too many fragmented projects and committees and tasks, trying to cover the waterfront. Being a utility player may make you your supervisor's favorite, and maybe it puts you in the right place at the right time, but more often it can just really leave you feeling burned out and not in control of your own promotion plan, your own action plan. So the second thing is not knowing what core skills are visible and valuable up the ladder, and we're going to talk about that quite a bit in just a minute. I think the third is waiting to get promoted. So that's why this is called Promote Yourself rather than Get Promoted. This idea that I'm waiting for opportunities to happen or equating tenure with promotion. I've been here 3 years, where's my promotion? Promoting yourself. The fourth is getting frustrated with setbacks in a 3 to 5 year plan or pressure to write one if you don't have one. I really believe in shorter sprint goals. So 90 days, I think 3 months is a perfect sprint. And that's what we're going to do today, is set short-term goals to get for your promotion. So promote yourself is about being active and centered in the process rather than passively, where's my promotion, looking for it. It means promoting yourself means honing your focus, very intentional skill development, setting concrete specific goals, and expanding your rings of influence so that you're thought about when opportunities occur. Marwa Alchemies, who was going to run this, but she's somewhere in our cloud. She works with our team. She's a great example. As a grad school, she participated in OWHE. She was purposefully and intentionally showing up in spaces where Jedi discussions were taking place. And we hired her at Reed to lead some book discussions with us. And when we had an opening a year later for an assistant director, we immediately knew who we wanted to talk to. So how do you promote yourself? In my experience, you can overcome these common mistakes by understanding a couple of universal skills that you can strengthen and showcase regardless of your content expertise, your level of experience, your title, or the happenstance of openings. And these skills are purpose, having clarity about who you are and what you're about, and we'll do an exercise soon to clarify your purpose. Publish and present, the ability to communicate clearly at an increasingly wider level. Plan and project management, that's strategic planning and project management, the ability to envision change and bring people and resources along with you. And being a goal setter, defining a pathway, and we're going to set goals, as we talked about, to take action, to stretch all of these skills. So now we'll go to section 1. Let's get started with the very foundation of promoting yourself, and that's having clarity about yourself and your strengths. Promotion statement is constructed of 2 things: your why, what I care about, and your how I solve problems. In other words, what are my strengths? And it sounds something like this. I'll give you an example for me. I'm interested in higher education and organizational design and leadership. And I use my strengths of strategic planning and design thinking to solve issues at the intersection of those areas. So a couple of other examples might be, I'm interested in higher education and sustainability. And I use my strengths of persuasion and scientific thinking to solve issues at this intersection. It could be higher ed and healthcare, specifically mental wellness. And I use deep listening and trust building at this intersection. Or it could be higher ed and social justice, specifically how marginalized students are oriented to higher ed. And I use my strengths of research and presentation to solve issues at this intersection. So those are some examples. Your why and your how is a clear statement of purpose. And people know what to do with you when you're able to verbalize that. They know with whom to network you and how to help you. They know what to invite you to. And what you get out of it is you have language in that simple statement that you can easily repurpose, from a performance review to an email outreach for informational interviews to your LinkedIn About session. So at this point, if you have your worksheet open, that's great. If you don't have your worksheet open, you can just follow along with this. Actually, I'm going to go to the next slide. Maybe take a picture of this one and have that formula. So let's build your own statement of purpose, starting with the first part. We're going to start with why. So you're in the field of higher education and you've chosen it above all other fields possible. Why? In order to stand out for promotion, you need clarity about the aspect of higher education that intrigues you, that you're curious about, that you lean into. You want to affect it. You love it. It excites you. There are questions centering around it that you want to answer, and you see how it matters, and you enjoy talking to other people about it, and you want to explore it. And I want to say, not forever, just right now. So that's an important note. It's not defining your purpose forever and ever. It's what's exciting you right now. What are you leaning into right now? So these are some questions that I want you to consider while you look at the other side, which is the purpose, your purpose column. And you heard my example and a couple of others. As you look through this column, you may want to pick more than one. For example, you might say you're interested in higher ed, communications, and social justice. That's sort of a journalist who might be writing about social justice across the higher ed landscape. It might be higher ed plus relations, human relations, but specifically adult training and development. That would be Hayden Todd. It might be higher ed and investing in financial responsibility plus social justice. So you can go deeper into a level, specifically raising money for BIPOC only students. And that would be like Shania Siren. So this slide is going to remain on the screen. I want you to take 2 minutes and think about and write in, if you have your worksheet open, segment 1A. If you don't, it's just the part that says I'm interested in higher ed and blank on your worksheet. See what resonates with you from this list and create your own. If you don't see a topic or a space that speaks to you, this exercise is meant to focus and not narrow your thoughts. Those are two different things. Remember, it's not specific to your institution. Don't say, oh, I would go into that space, but I don't like those people at my. No, it's not specific to your institution. And it's not 5 years from now. To promote yourself, you need to know what matters to you right now. So put what comes to mind quickly. Remember, this is a time to practice, and you can always adjust anytime. So just put something down as practice. And when you decide on yours, please write it on your sheet or on your piece of paper. And if you're willing, please add your answer into the chat. You can turn your camera off, and I will bring us back in 2 minutes. Hayden, were you able to get the sheet up for? Oh yeah, you did. Perfect.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
Mara dropped it in there.
Perfect. Brilliant. Brilliant. Well done. Okay, well, come on back. Re-engage. Let's see you. You've taken that first step. So go ahead and return to the session. I'll give you a minute. You can turn your cameras back on now, if you choose. All right, welcome back. You took a step to articulate your why. So the second half of your promotion statement or your statement of purpose is to clarify how. And Hayden will go to the next slide. How do you solve challenges in your areas of interest? So these are your strengths. And I want to say, I know sometimes it is very hard to articulate our strengths and we doubt them and we consider ourselves imposters with them. And one of the ways to break that is to ask yourself, what is uncompromisable about me? What is uncompromisable to you? What do you always bring to the party, no matter what kind of a day you've had? I'll give you an example. Even on my worst days, I can design anything and I can think strategically about an issue. So what is consistent and observable about you? What is your favorite way of solving challenges? Who are you? Think about this. Who are you in a group setting? Do you speak first and lead off the conversation? Or do you sit back and summarize action and at the end? Are you a great listener? In your social group, are you the planner or are you the one that helps friends patch it up when they're not getting along? In an academic setting, were you a strong writer? Did you take initiative to read outside your requirements? All of these are possibilities for your how. So again, this is how you solve, and it's the second half of your statement of purpose. So this slide is going to remain on the screen, and you're going to take 2 more minutes and write 1, 2, or 3 ways that you show up and put that into the block 1B on your worksheet. I want to say something. This exercise should delight you. These are your favorite things to do. It's not specific to your current job and even to higher ed. It's not forever, just right now. And so put what comes to mind quickly. Remember, you can always revisit, revise all you want. Just get what comes off the top of your mind captured for now. So you can turn off your cameras and this will stay on the screen and I'll bring you back in 2 minutes. Okay, come on back. Come on back to the session. All right, so now in this first segment, you have clarified your purpose in a why plus how statement. Is anybody willing to read theirs?
I can read mine.
Go ahead. Thanks, Anne.
I'm interested in the intersection of higher education and career development and innovative career education. I plan to use my strengths of written communication, teaching, and relationship building to solve issues at this intersection.
It's great. Perfect. Thank you. You'll be able to use your statement of purpose in a myriad of ways. So it helps you focus on things to say yes to. You can share it with your supervisor, post it on LinkedIn on your About section, use it as a template in an email for informational interviews. This sentence forms the foundation of your promotion narrative. You refine it and you own it and you change it when you start to get curious about other areas. Your purpose is the seed with which you share with others by growing and practicing the 4 core skills that we talked about. So let's move into section 2. Section 1 was your purpose, section 2 is your plan. So the next 15 minutes are about setting 3 specific goals in the next 90 days that stretch you to promote yourself and practice your purpose through the key skills that we talked about. Publish and present, which is the ability to communicate clearly at an increasingly wider level, and plan and project manage, strategic planning, project management, the ability to envision change and bring people and resources along with you. So why 90 days? Because 3 to 5 year goals, goal setting, while it is a very good exercise, it's not a good action plan. It's too long. COVID taught us that. Life teaches us that. So instead, I encourage you to adopt a practice, adopt a habit of setting 90-day goals really in every category of your life, but especially professionally for action that will move you forward. So we're going to set 3 goals, one for yourself, one with your supervisor, and one with your network, because it increasingly expands your scope to do all 3. So you're going to write, I suggest putting your goals in very visible places like your refrigerator, your mirror at home, put them in your wallet, tape them up to on your wall at work. So let's look at the worksheet. Yep, you've got it up. Thanks, Hayden. And you'll see a space to record 3 concrete goals that move you forward. You're going to hone on the core skills of publish, present, plan, and project manage. You're going to set one for yourself, one with your supervisor, and one with your network. I do think setting only 3 goals is a very wise idea, by the way. Sometimes we have 10 or 20 goals. I say focus on them. So for example, a goal for yourself might be, if you want to do more presentations, that you learn Canva. You can learn that yourself. Maybe you update your LinkedIn profile so that you can start publishing professional art, publishing what they call articles. Those are 250 word little short articles. Or maybe your goal is simply to add your statement of purpose to your about section. You could reach out to GAIN and offer to guest blog or any group that you belong to. You can create an outreach email for an informational interview, or anything else that you can think of that you could do that will move you forward in one of those key areas: publish, promote, plan, project manage, and present. The second area is to choose a goal to do with your supervisor. So now you're moving out from yourself into explaining it to your supervisor. You can discuss co-presenting a topic or represent your group to your institution in a larger setting. You may ask to take part in strategic planning. You might offer to manage a project or a program by putting together a proposal if you see a need for something. You might add your statement of purpose to your upcoming performance review or one-to-one. Talk about it with and express interest that you want to develop these foundational skills for promotion in order to gain a wider network and gain these skills. Say, I'd like to present and publish. Where can I present with you? And maybe in the all staff, maybe with the board of trustees, maybe in a lunch and learn, maybe just with your own team. Sorry, I'm starting to shout over the lawn folks who make our lawns so beautiful here at Reed. A third goal is to think about something that you can do with your network. So now you've expanded your ring out even further. You can share an article that's in your area of purpose. So for example, higher ed and mental health, sustainability, social justice, to LinkedIn every week. Maybe that's your goal. Maybe your goal is to look for people who share your purpose at another institution and ask for an informational interview. You can register for any conference. It doesn't have to be higher ed, virtual or in person, anything that aligns with your purpose. You can offer to lead a book discussion with your group or division or institution, or anything else that you can think of that goes out into your network. So this screen is going to remain, or this slide will remain on the screen. We're going to take 3 minutes for you to decide on 3 goals, one in each block that you can achieve in 90 days. Quick ideas, write them on your sheet in section 2. And if you're willing, please share them out in the chat if you're willing to share one or more of your goals. So you can turn your cameras off and I'll bring you back in 3 minutes. Okay, come on back. Come on back to the session. Welcome back. I hope the prompts gave you some ideas. So now we're ready to move on to section 3, which is your partner. We've covered your purpose, we've covered your plan, and now we're in the final segment, which is your partner. So goals are more effective when you have accountability. So for the next 10 minutes, you're going to be paired with an accountability partner, what I call a promotion partner. And I will say, if you're familiar with Gretchen Rubin and the book, The 4 Tendencies, you will understand my next statement. And if not, I strongly encourage you to check it out. I'll put a link in at the end. Obligers and upholders will be very happy to have an accountability partner. Rebels and questioners will not be. So it's truly up to you. How do you want to participate with your partner? Even if you don't want to have accountability, you don't want accountability. If your partner does, please respect that as part of their process. And remember, I always say we have 2 hands. We have one hand that reaches up so that we can be lifted up, and one that we reach down with, so we can reach down and bring others up with us. So your assignment will be, let's see if they sign. Yeah, your assignment will be to read your statement of purpose to each other. Talk a little bit about it. Add specifics to your goals. The more specific you are with your goals, the better. For example, I will meet with my supervisor on May 9th at my weekly one-on-one to share insights from this workshop and my statement of purpose, and to ask about setting formal goals together. Or maybe you'd say, starting on May 1st, I plan to take 10 minutes every day at 9:30 in the morning to do my LinkedIn, just 10 minutes, quick. And I'm going to read the LinkedIn feed, add connections, share some articles, make comments. That'll just be my practice over the next 90 days. Maybe your specificity sounds like this. Tomorrow, using my statement of purpose, I'm going to reach out to a colleague at another school who is managing a project or a program that relates to my purpose. And I'm going to ask for an informational interview sometime in the first week of June or July or whatever. For me, that would be OSU's Entrepreneurship Center. So if anybody has connections there, that's my goal. So that's your assignment. Together, practice statement of purpose, review and refine your 3 goals to make sure that you have specificity. And I would say overall, just to have a good conversation about what you want as a promotion. What do you need in order to get what you want? Your partner may have ideas for you. They may have connections for you. They may be able to help in some way. So add dates to your plan and agree on how and when you and your partner will stay connected over the next 90 days. So maybe you have coffee next month. Maybe you just text each other on deadline dates, or maybe you have a monthly Zoom check-in, whatever the 2 of you decide. So Hayden and Marwa, what I do need is for you to help move everybody into rooms in pairs. And I'm going to give them 10 minutes. And if you finish sooner, come on back. But hopefully you'll get engrossed in your conversation. So we're going to work on that on the back end for a minute. And when we come back, we will gather. And so again, in 10 minutes after you go off in your partnership, we'll do some final questions and then we'll close.
Alice, we're working it out on the chat.
We'll
get there. No worries.
We'll get your partners.
While she's working on that, would anybody be willing to share some of the specific goals they set for the next 90 days? You can feel free to drop them in the chat or raise your hand or just unmute yourself also.
My partner and I agreed to try and connect again to go over some goals and one of the things that we kind of realized is that she's in a position where it would be helpful for her to have somebody who's more of a developer and a positive person, to kind of hype her up. And that's something I'm great at doing for other people.
Yeah.
And so we agreed to make a connection in a little while so that we can kind of have a little bit of accountability, and also like that that helps her, but it also helps me, because when I'm doing that, I also kind of I start to do that for myself, and so that's really helpful. And also just having somebody to be accountable to when you're doing amorphous tasks like 10 invites to LinkedIn every week, or whatever it is you're doing. It's helpful to have somebody to touch base with.
That's awesome. Let's see, Alice, were you able to get back into the room, and you want to try your sound? Oh, let's see. Let's see if I make her a host. Sorry, everyone. Thank you for your patience as we get this sorted. Oh, well, we're working on that. Carla shared in the chat that her partner, they shared about working on and also reimagining a student workforce program by June 1st, and then discuss it with their supervisor after 2 weeks. Also, goal number 3 is to have a conversation with her network of graduating students by May 28th on said program. And we agreed to reconnect by May 9th, which is Mother's Day. That's awesome. And Carla, I'm also really interested in hearing about what you're thinking for a student workforce program redesign. Because I love thinking about that. So now I'm selfishly involving myself in everyone's goals.
Actually, it's Tess's goal, not
Oh,
mine.
okay.
Yeah, so it's the reverse. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Tess, now I'm in your business.
And you're always in my business.
I was going to say, nothing new. You graduated and I'm still in your business.
Yeah, I'm thinking about redefining our clarity of purpose and as using like the learning targets ideas, as well as working directly with the Career Center to see how we can tailor students' resumes to their intended career goals after graduation.
That's awesome.
And then making sure that the students who are interested in particular things are getting to try some hands-on practice, and maybe diversifying so that all the students are doing the exact same things.
Yeah. Alice just dropped in the chat. Hello, participants. I have quit Zoom twice and I'm not able to join. So she's loving hearing your goals. We've got about 1 minute left, and it looks like we're at the end of the presentation, but is anybody else wanting to share what goals they've set, or maybe some clarity of purpose that they've been able to come towards by participating? Well, I went ahead and dropped Alice's email in the chat, so feel free to write that down. You can also find her on LinkedIn. Alice is wonderful. If you ever need to talk something out, I can say that she's my supervisor, so I know firsthand how incredible working with her is. And I want to say thank you so much for joining us and participating in this session today. And hopefully you all walk away with some goals that you've set and can start thinking about in the next 90 days. And we look forward to seeing you in the rest of the sessions this afternoon.